right, all right. All right, well, if we could kind of start to quiet down. There's still going to be people trickling in, so if we want to get started, this is going to be launch systems, tools, and best practices. My name is Levi Lascsak, and I'm here with Tom and Marissa Trong. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody. It's still morning, right?
I think so, yeah.
I think so.
Well, not only is it morning, but it's morning on the last day, right? And so we see all who didn't drink last night. So, right.
I did a little bit.
Oh, all right. All right, well, thank you for joining us today. So we're just going to talk about systems and best practices, kind of geared towards more of agent attraction. And so we're going to just kind of run through this, a quick introduction. We'll kind of go back and forth a little bit on what's working in both of our businesses. And how long you been in the business, Tom?
17 years in both of us.
Okay, so you're going to have the veteran viewpoint, 17 years in the business. And I think on our side, you're going to get the newbie viewpoint because December will be our 2-year mark in the business. So we're right at 20 months. And we'll share with you what's been working for us, what's working with Tom. So if we want to get this kicked off, Tom, do you mind, and Marissa, sharing a brief introduction of the business? Also, and real quick, how big is your organization here at eXp?
So currently we have 1,140 agents within our organization.
Woo! Congratulations.
It's been an exciting journey because now we're at the point where it's not about us. It's about everybody that we're able to help. And the way I see this business, it's a gift. And it's up to you to decide whether or not the person that you give that gift to not only deserves it, but it's also up to them to open it.
Yep.
So, sorry, that was a little long.
Yeah, 17 years in business. For the first 9 years, we built our own brokerage. We started with just basically Marissa and me. And then that was in 2005. We thought we were brilliant when we left our corporate jobs to go into the real estate business up until 2007. And then the crash came, and then we're like, what the heck are we doing? Right? But then we grew right through that, through basically just bringing in more agents. Long story short, by the end of 2014, we had it up to 4 offices in Greater Boston and about 120 agents. And then we looked at our business and the net cash flow, the net income from our operations, and it was not that pretty. If we weren't selling houses ourselves, we would not have a really profitable brokerage. And we basically sold the brokerage, did very well, got 4 times earnings for those accountants out there, 4 times EBITDA. Did very well with it and went back to being a domestic team, sales team. Okay, and in our opinion, we did very well with sales. Did about 36 transactions each and every year for those next 3 years, and then eXp came along. That was 4.5 years ago, and that has really changed our lives. When we saw the opportunity. Marissa will tell you she was not a believer. She didn't follow me right away, right? I had to go first just to make sure that, I believed in it all the time, but made that decision in just 3 short days, 2 sleepless nights, dove into everything, asked all the toughest questions, met with our CEO, Jason Yessing, drove 2.5 hours to meet with him and grilled him, and it's been a hell of a ride since. Like Marissa said, some days, some days when you guys wake up, are you guys always fired up when you wake up every day to go to work? Right, so let's get real, right? We're talking about a tool system, growing your organization, building your career. Some days I don't want to get up because I get tired and I'm thinking, what am I doing this for? We can retire, we really don't have to work anymore, but the reason is, what Marissa says, is we make promises to people. And that's what keeps us going to help you guys build, to help this organization go from 86,000 to 500,000 to 1 million agents. Who's ready?
That's awesome. And a quick intro on myself. So my name is Levi Lascsak, and I'm here with my partner, Travis Plum. We got Alex, our videographer, here with us as well. So we've been in the business right at 20 months. Travis and I both had previous businesses that kind of went south during COVID. And so we had to transition. We didn't know each other at the time, but we met randomly one day over at Michael Reese's house. Funny how that guy keeps popping up in my life over and over. But I actually sold gym memberships with Michael Reese 20 years ago at Bally Total Fitness. And he's been trying to recruit me for 20 years to get into real estate. So whatever you do, don't give up. It just may take somebody 20 years to get in. All right? So that's the thing. And then once we transitioned, when I got into real estate, I just paused. Instead of getting into real estate and then trying to figure out a plan, I had decided to develop a plan, then get into real estate. And I knew I wanted to attract business. So we're going to get a little bit more into agent attraction. But the key for me is how do you attract business? Truly, because even we talk about agent attraction. Well, after doing a lot of research and taking time first, then I stumbled upon YouTube, which was a last choice, and we started a YouTube channel. So over the first 15 months, actually it took us 90 days to get the first deal under contract. Over the next 15 months, we generated almost 1,700 leads from the channel. We did over 217 transactions, and that was over 121 million in volume in the first 15 months of the channel. And we did that organic, yeah. Thank you. So we just broke over 17,000 subscribers on the channel as well. So it's growing consistently and steadily, but that's also allowed us to age and attract, and that's a little bit what I'll talk about. But I want to pass it over to you guys again real quick and say...
so Levi, I'm going to ask you the question. How large is your organization?
Oh, thank you. So our organization right now is at 370. So within 18 months, yeah.
18 months, that's amazing.
Yeah. 370, and that's been worth for the math geeks out there. I mean, I'll just say it's been worth about $15,000 a month for the last 5 months in a row. But it's funny because if you look at our first check, it was $8. And there was a progression, right? It went from $8 to $10 to $16 to $32. I mean, if you see those compounding scales, they're really, I mean, it's true, right? And then it took about 12 to 13 months before it really jumped up into $1,000. But it went from 400 or 500, and then it had a significant jump, and then it just starts to compound from there.
Right. So when I joined 4.5 years ago, our sponsors, Tracy Gagnon and Scott Lewis, says, Tom, if you just invested 2 hours a day, listing agents instead of listing houses, your life can change a few years now. So I said, okay, so 2 hours a day, listing agents, because when you list an agent, you get paid for a long time. Residually, you list a house, you get paid once. I said, okay, what does that look like? Okay, if I'm good, I'm disciplined to make calls each and every day for 2 hours a day, 10 hours a week, 40 hours a month, 200 hours a year, 800 hours in 4 years. You guys follow the math? What do it look like? They said about 2 to 5 years, you can probably create $500,000 residual income, in revenue share, I should say, right? And guys, that's what I did. Now, at the beginning, it wasn't like that. I invested 2 hours a day, and no check the first month, no check the second month. The third month, remember, I'm into this now 120 hours when I should be listing houses. The third month, the check comes in at $357. I'm thinking to myself, this is awesome, it's working. They weren't lying. She's looking at me.
And I'm like, this is not working. So, just so that you understand, as a domestic partnership, I was the one that was doing the transactions. I was a listing agent. We had one buyer agent at the time, and so that $300 check, I was like, that's your money. Right? Production, that's nothing. That's not even a rental check, right? And so, the next month it goes up, and it's still like 4 figures, and that's still.
Now you got to share now, right?
She's getting there. Go ahead on.
Now you got to share.
So at 4 figures, it was still his money and his business, and then it went to a little bit more past the comma.
5 figures.
And then it became our business.
No, yeah.
So for those non-believers with a spouse on their side, just believe in your partner, right? It will happen.
Or you don't have to at first, and it will still happen.
That's great. So, and if you have questions, we're going to open up towards the end for Q&A, so just write those down. Also, I want to give everyone a little bit of homework, and I want to come back to this, is also write down what is your superpower in real estate? What is the number one way that you generate business? And I want to come back to that, but I think we've got a really great perspective here, again, because we've got veteran versus newbie.
Yeah.
We've got, let's say, I want to say outbound versus inbound, because you're outbound calling, right? You're pursuing, and we focus on an attraction. And of course, what we talk about, nothing wrong with either way. I think this is something that, what he made a very good point, Tom did, about, first of all, delayed gratification. This is why it's hard to start a business. It's hard to get into business because you have to work for a significant period of time without getting paid. And that is not, a lot of people cannot handle that. When we talk about starting the channel, it was all blind faith. but I had a plan to put into place, and we implemented that. When you look at the 2 months it took me to research, it took another month to film, then we actually released a video, and then before the first deal came in, when you add all that up together, that was 7 months of getting paid zero before getting the first deal under contract. Now, how many people would have quit in month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6? And I'll be honest, there was a couple of times I thought about it, you know?
Of course we all do.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember the 7th month, the check went to, it was $300, then $200, and then it went to $700, and then it went to $1,400, and then it went to $2,800, and that's by the 7th month. I'm like, $2,800, it's doubling every month now, right? So next month it should be 56, and it went all the way back down, and she's rolling her eyes again, right? And I called my sponsor and says, are you sure this is going to work? Because I'm working my tail off 2 hours a day, Levi, making calls. And then it started to click. And then it went to 10, and then it went to 15, then it went to 20, and it kept going and going and going. And now it's getting out of control. How would you like your income to get out of control? And there's systems in place. We talk about the systems and staying consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for us, I mean, we saw the business model first. I mean, of course, knowing Michael Reese for so many years, I've just watched what he's done. I just never really had the interest to be a real estate agent. However, when he approached me about eXp, I saw the business model. I understood it. But the thing was, for myself at least, I was saying, well, how can I do that? How can I do the agent attraction whenever I don't have the production side? Will I have credibility? Now, I believe you can do absolutely anything. But that was just something for myself. I said I needed to have some production first, so at least I could talk the talk and have some sort of credibility. But then it's like, well, how do you get into real estate and really have success, especially because you understand how hard it works. So let's talk about some systems, though, as far as that you use. So you time blocked, right? 2 hours a week or a day?
A day.
A day, 2 hours a day. So let's kind of start with the basics. Okay, 2 hours a day, and then what does that look like as you prepare for that?
So my 2 hours a day, so in our business, we have a saying in our family, I'm the rainmaker, right? I go out and get the business, the sales, the buyers, the listings, and also the agents. And then once it's in, Marissa's job is to retain, to coach, to train, to plug them into everything else. So my 2 hours a day, from an agent attraction perspective, is I basically follow a system. So for those who are taking notes, there's many influencers out there who share with you this system. For me, it's number one, what does my dream board look like? What does my goal look like? And I'm reminded of that every day. So if you don't have a vision board or a dream board, or if you don't have your goals written down, you got to do that tonight. Okay? So number one is, why am I doing this each and every day? Number two is make a big list. And every day I'm making a list, believe it or not. You don't make a list once and then stick it in the drawer. You make a list every day because you should be working through your list by making calls, right? So make a list, okay? And then invite. That to me is a very important step. Invite someone to a lunch and learn. Invite someone to have coffee with you, to jump on a Zoom call with you. Fourth one is show the program. The faster you guys start showing the program, instead of hit and play on a video or inviting them to a lunch and learn, the faster you will grow yourselves and master this business. Because you have your way of building your revenue share organization, right? All of us see this business differently. The people you're attracting needs to see from your perspective. Okay? So, have a dream, goal list, make a list, show the program, invite, show, and then wealth chart. If you don't guys know, just YouTube wealth chart. Ralph Flick created that. He's a master artist. He's the biggest influencer here at eXp. Wealth chart, because you got to track them. And then the last thing is most important, is I say this. The fortune is in the FU. Got it? Follow up, follow up, follow up. That's my system. It's not complicated. It doesn't cost you anything. Remember? A lot of you guys might think, man, I need a videographer to follow me around. I need all this production. I need this, I need that. No, you don't. Those 5 things you can have without any extra costs. It's $85 a month, and you have a business you have a business like Marissa says, it's a gift. Open it up, and you can make millions. Now she'll get into the details about some of the systems that we do use. But I can tell you, the first couple of years, we didn't have any systems. That was my system. It was simple.
Don't forget about the asking the 3-way call. Yeah, don't forget about that.
Thank you. The seventh one, three-way calls. Very important. That's part of the follow-up, right? The three-way calls.
By the way, Marissa, you don't have to use the microphone to whisper in his ear. Okay? they can just letting you know on the next round that they can hear you. So.
There you go.
Choose your words wisely.
It's just a habit that I've accumulated over the past 30 years. So, Levi, you opened up by saying to the audience, what is your superpower? It's such a coincidence that you said that because I don't know how many of you guys know in this room Russ Lagan. Are you whispering at me right now?
In the back, they're saying they can't hear.
Okay, sorry. So how many of you guys know Russ Lagan? Have you guys met him and had a chance to actually break bread with him or even be in his presence? He and I are actually very close. We brought him into the business, and then he left, and then he came back. And so one of the things he and I are constantly talking about is that he thinks that my superpower is to make people feel special, make them feel loved and welcomed into our lives, into our community. And I do that with our clients as well. That's why the thing about putting the buckets under the rain is that you have to make sure there's no holes there. So I am, as Tom is saying, he's constantly following up. My day is spent making sure that I'm helping as many agents in our organization as I possibly can. So that's the big picture of it. But as far as the tools that I use, if you guys want to get really granular, I was talking to somebody about this last night. I use a program that's both Android and Apple app called Reach. If you guys don't know what that is, it's actually a texting group app, and I have several groups that are created within that. So if we're doing an event in a specific state, and I have leaders in that community, then I'm automatically reaching out to them, letting them know that we're coming so that we can pre-plan the events before we get there. That's a really powerful tool. The other one that we actually use also, and I don't know, Levi, if you use this one, is called CRM Grow. It's called CRM Grow.
CRM Grow. I don't think I need a microphone. Can you guys hear me in the back? All right, you hold the microphone, honey. I'm just going to...
So Tom uses CRM Grow to introduce the opportunity, but it's a customer relationship management program that we use for agent attraction. And all of the content that's in our CRM Grow library is the interviews with people like Brent Gove, the things that Tom does within also our Asian community as well, because what we're trying to do is create a connection with people. We want them to want to be with us. And so our content is ours, we own that. However, you have your own story and you have your own gift to give, like I said. So those are the two tools that I wanted to just share before I forgot.
And CRM Grow is awesome. And there are competing software, so it's not, it's just finding the software, a CRM to follow up, right? So this morning I wake up and my dashboard goes off, and an agent that we've been following up with for about 3 months watched 2 videos, right? And she would be in my tier 2, and I took a screenshot and I shot it to my tier 1, right? I shot it to Joe and said, Joe, she just looked at it. So Joe picked up her phone and calls her and says she's joining. She's ready, right? So you use the systems to help you follow up. And I can also tell when I send a video out, because I can't fly to the state, right? And they don't want to spend time with me to watch the video on a Zoom call, so then I just send it to them. And I can also tell with CRM Grow whether they watched all 17 minutes or just 3 minutes. And so when I send it to them, I just tell them, I say, hey, we have massive artificial intelligence in our software. We can tell how many minutes you watch. And so I call people out. You only watch 3 minutes and 54 seconds. How can you tell me you understand the program?
So Tom uses the tool for attraction. I actually use it for retention as well, because you have the ability to put all the folks that are in that program into different buckets. And so, again, my role in our organization is retention. I want to make sure that he's not spending a ton of time having people join our group and then having them leave out the back end. So for me, it's all about loving on people. And how do people feel the most loved? When they're recognized. We instituted this new program. We're actually recognizing not only the anniversary of when folks in our organization are joining, we're also recognizing the folks that CAP, that ICON, people that have closed their first deal, they also get recognition. A new one that we just instituted is people that have just sponsored their first agent. And so all of this Data is available. eXp gives you the ability to take that information. It's up to you to use it. So, I mean, granted, I don't know every person in our group at this point. I can't. It's impossible. We're in like 4 countries now. I'd like to, but we can't be everywhere all the time. And artificial intelligence is the only way to make sure that people continue to feel connected, because that's what this is all about.
That's great. I want to come back to that for in just a minute. And so you heard about the outbound, right? So the outbound, and I'll just say for us. So who here has 3 years or less in the business? Say aye. Aye. Okay. All right. Well, if you've made it to the 3-year mark, then you're probably going to stick around, right?
You made it.
So we took the attraction base. You know, the thing is that when we started out, Travis and I, neither one of us had been in real estate, so we didn't have 15, 16 years of experience in the industry. We didn't have the relationships, which I believe relationships are your fastest path to growing an organization very quickly, but we didn't have that. And so a lot of people will say that, right? Well, I'm 1 or 2 or 3 years in the business. Where do I go? I can't just call. I don't have a list. I haven't done a ton of transactions. And so for us, and everyone has the capability of doing this. What can I see a show of hands of who's willing to share their superpower? Just raise your hand. Okay, you right here in the front?
Relationships.
Relationships. So sphere. Okay.
I also send out cards to do that.
Who's a cold caller? Raise your hand. Okay. Who's an open houser? Raise your hand. Okay. Who's a FSBO caller? All right, so you got different ways to do that. So for us, it was YouTube. That's how we generated our business. And this is something that Travis pushed me to very, very quickly, even before I thought we were ready, which was as soon as we saw the first amount of success, we developed a story along with that so that we could document that and provide that to offer to people, okay? So for that, whenever we reached, what's the income mark that a lot of agents want to reach within their first year? $100,000, right, I knew it, $100,000. Well, when we got the first deal under contract from YouTube, over the next 100 days, we were able to do $100,000 in commissions over that next 100 days. And so for us, that kind of became the story. That became the attraction point, right? Discover how we did $100,000 in 100 days as brand new real estate agents on YouTube. Does that sound attractive? Yes. Now, if you don't have YouTube, you've got to think about your superpower. For those of you that have been in the business for 10, 15, 20 years, you even have more of an advantage than what you think. So what you want to do is you want to lay out your superpower and how do you execute that every single day. So if you can do that, whether that is FSBOs, whether it's expireds, whether it's open houses, you have to start with the top and say, okay, first of all, and you can do this in Google Sheets. You're actually going to build out what you're going to do and document that through a digital course. Because that is a way, I believe, not only for just attraction, but also for retention. Think about this. When people come into our organization, we're attracting people that want to do video. Clearly, that's how we can help them the most. Well, I cannot teach YouTube to 1,000 people, right? I can't even teach it to 370 one-on-one. So now that we have everything documented in a easy to follow digital course, whoever comes in our organization is going to get access to that. And they're going to have a blueprint and a model for them to follow. So first of all, for retention on that side. So think about that. Why do people get out of real estate? Why do they get out of eXp? It's because they're not effective at lead generation. So when people come to you, and you will attract a lot of solo and single agents as well, right? Because they're usually the ones that are looking for answers, looking for helps. So the first thing you can do, if you can help somebody with their production side, in our opinion, then this is a great way to attract business and to have something out there. So if you're, the thing is that you can, those that are experienced in open houses, you can run a poor open house and you can run a great open house, right? And just like Brent Gove says, he built his whole business on open houses. At first, he wasn't that great. He said he was terrible, and then he got better and better and better. I can assure you, he doesn't need to, but Brent could actually document every single thing he does and have an open house course, something that is very simple and easy for somebody to follow. And so you have this skill set right now, every single one of you, whether that's cold calling, whether that's door knocking. And so if you actually document what it is. Okay, first of all, if it's Sphere, let's say Sphere, okay, well, how do I do that? Do I go into my phone? Do I go into all my contacts, my emails? How do I collect all the names? Now, once I've collected all the names, what do? Do I segment that out? Just like Tom and they said they've got a plan, right? They've got, okay, 2 hours a day, block it out. You're going to share your experience of how you go through this process every single time to conduct transactions, to produce, right? Because the first thing, if we can get somebody in the organization and we can get them to transact, especially if it's a new agent or somebody that's looking for answers or struggling, then we're going to help them get something under contract as soon as possible.
Yeah, along those same lines, for the gentleman that said his superpower was relationships, how many of you guys are high-producing real estate agents right now here at eXp? Okay, you guys have your own opportunity right then and there. And what I mean by that is you recognize that we're in a business that we're actually working directly every single day with our competition, right? There's an agent on the other side that belongs to another brokerage. Those agents that are in production, that's your opportunity to potentially bring that agent to eXp, because we do have the back office systems in place here at this company. We do own it. We make a difference, or we see an issue within eXp as far as the systems, and they fix it. And not a lot of companies have that kind of an opportunity. It's like the opposite of a funnel. So for those agents here that are in production, that want to move their business to attraction, you're already got one step ahead of a lot of people in this world.
Yeah. Systems is all, figure out what your superpower is and do that. Figure out what your superpower is. If you can't figure out how to do that, find a coach, find us, and we'll help you talk it through, right? One of the things at eXp University, we've got more training than any agent can humanly handle, right or wrong?
Yeah.
Does everybody genuinely believe that from the bottom of their heart? Yes. So why do our agents still fail and quit and leave the business? Why? They don't know where to focus. What else? They're not plugged in. Maybe we haven't helped them with that first thing on the board. What's their dream? What's their goal? Why did they come in the first place? Why did they get the license in the first place? It frustrates me so much, and I'm passionate about it because I know this platform can help every single agent succeed at whatever levels they succeed. And our job is to get them plugged in, get them passionate, get them to really understand you can do this. And even if I'm gone and I retire one day, you still can take it to the moon with our system. When I recruit, when I share, that's what I tell people. It's in spite of me, you will still succeed, Levi, right?
Yep.
And so along those lines, again, I'm about retention. We also know when you come to eXp, there's a myriad of options to build your business. It's a lot right away. For someone new, it's daunting. Change and transition is already hard. So recognize the people that you bring in are going to struggle initially, and then once they sort of take a step back and realize, oh my God, I made this decision, then they go, wait a second, how do I do my business cards? What am I supposed to do about this? Then they start getting panicky, and then that's when you as a sponsor have to come in and guide them and help them through that. It's like you drink from a fire hose, and then all of a sudden, flip a switch, and you're it's called thirsty. Parched, thank you. Then you end up being parched because you can't find that information that you need to get your business going as a brand new agent within eXp. So we put systems in place to make sure that that stuff doesn't happen. My outbounds are to our new agents. I'm on the phones calling, hey, do you know that your state meeting is this day? I know that you're probably going to get a transaction under contract really fast because you're a rock star. Did you go to your SkySlope training? Because you can find it in the world. Oh, you don't know where the world is? Let me help you figure out how to download eXp World and create your avatar for you. Now, again, 1,100 people, 1,140. I'm talking with me personally. It's not necessarily just me. We put our systems in place so the access to those answers before the questions are asked are already there. That's the true definition of the system.
Levi, you've got a very large organization. How do you get your people plugged in, right? You're doing YouTube training, but you can't be there for all 360, 380. How do you plug in?
Yeah, we try to do everything as systematized as possible as well. We also use CRM Grow, and I know everyone's like, oh, great, another CRM. But we just use it specifically for the agent attraction side, for sending videos. That's very key. But for us, I mean, we just try to be as present as possible. Right now, we hold a weekly call on Mondays, and that's for the entire organization to jump in, to brainstorm, to talk best practices, what's working in your market, our market. We try to talk about everything other than video, because otherwise, I'm doing 2 or 3 trainings per week as well, with not just our group, but and outside forces as well on YouTube. And so what I always let people know is that we're present. We're not hard to find, but you have to get plugged in. And so we continually invite, especially whenever they're in the organization, it's the same game all over again. It's invite to meetings, to conferences, to Zooms, to whatever we can to get them plugged in. And so we're always just trying to offer and provide more opportunity that they can get plugged into.
The biggest inviters, the biggest promoters have the biggest businesses. I did not say the biggest influencers have the biggest businesses. I did not say the biggest sales rock stars have the biggest businesses. All of you can learn how to promote and invite to everything that this platform is already available and giving to you. Does that make sense? And it doesn't cost you anything? $85 a month. But you can learn how to invite everyone to the program. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and so for us as well, the thing is that we're extremely niched into YouTube, of course, and so that's the people that we know we can help. So we also take the inadvertent approach to attracting people to eXp. We actually use YouTube as what we can help people on, because there's also benefits to that as well, because not everybody wants to join eXp, right? So that whenever you have something packaged, let's say you do build an open house course, or you do build a FSBO course or something like that, you have something to offer in addition to for the people that don't want to join eXp, because we know that it's just not for everybody. And so for us, we know that people that want to join us, and this is how we also recruited our team locally. Okay, so instead of putting out ads, calling people, trying to attract people locally, we were able to put on a local event teaching YouTube. And what happened was that attracted, we got 100 people in that room. We booked out that room. We got 100 people in there, and at the end of teaching everything on YouTube, we did at the end, hey, by the way, we're brokered by eXp, and if anybody's looking for a change or just open to talking about that, contact us afterwards. So we didn't turn the whole thing into an eXp event. We brought value, taught them how they can start working on YouTube themselves, and then at the end just gave an option to partner, which is also how we run. I heard Jay kind of mention right before we got in here about a webinar. It's also how we run a live weekly call as well, based on attraction. So if you put your offer out there, which is how to train agents on running the most successful open house, you'll attract people that want to learn that. And at the end, you can have a very subtle call to action. By the way, we are brokered with eXp, and we are looking for partners. And so if that's something you're open to, feel free to reach out. And so what that allows us to do is to reach a lot of people every single week and filter out. And then whenever the people reach out to us, we already know they want to talk about eXp. And then that's where it's very effective for us to send them the videos. We send them a video from CRM Grow, and we know that they watched that video before they even get on a call with myself, or Travis. So whenever they get on that call, they've watched the video. First of all, they raise their hand saying they want to know more. But ultimately, eXp is kind of on the back burner. We're attracting people that we know we can directly help. I cannot help somebody be a cold caller. I just can't do it, That's probably Ricky Caruth, right? if that's what you want to do, that's what I'll tell people. I'll say, look, Ricky might be a better fit for you because, he's the master of cold calling. Not our thing, so we can't do that. But if you want to be the best on video through YouTube, I think we're the best team to help you do that. So if that's something you want to do, then that's why you'd want to partner with us. And so we give them that option. So they raise their hand and they say, and then it's not all about eXp. It's about helping them grow their production first, which is what a lot of people are looking for in their business, either to produce more or to get production in the first place, right? Now, the thing is that this is also attractive to brokers, because if you talk to a team or a brokerage, then you have something to offer their entire brokerage. So it's not just about trying to get them over with their 10, 20, 30, 40 agents. It's like, what can you provide to their brokerage on top of that? And if you have something, in my opinion, that's just what allows us. It's a tangible asset. When you build a digital course and you document everything to help somebody follow a path, first of all, that makes it extremely easy for somebody to duplicate. And they were talking about it yesterday, duplication, right? If it doesn't duplicate, it doesn't matter. So it makes it very easy follow to a format for people to jump in and get involved. But also it's something very tangible that people can see and they can put their fingers on and say, okay, this is an asset you're going to provide to me, and it's something that I want to do. And plus you're attracting people that want to do this thing that your superpower is ideal for, right? And if you can help people that are attracted to you based on how you've built your business, you're going to follow a path of least resistance, right? Because it's the same thing with YouTube attracting clients. And by the way, that's two separate audiences. So when we attract real estate clients through YouTube, they've watched our videos, right? They've watched multiple videos. When they call us, they've already made the decision that they want to work with us. So we don't have really any nightmare clients because they are calling us based on our personality and the fact that they want to do business with us. Same thing with agent attraction. We're putting all this information out there, but helping people understand how they can grow and increase their production first. And then we've brought in people that have left eXp, and they said, you know what? And the number one thing we talk about, the reason people leave eXp is because they don't find value in the sponsor. And that is because if they join Aunt Susie and Aunt Susie sells 3 homes a year, what happens? And Aunt Susie can't pass on that information, or Uncle Bob. Nothing against Aunt Susie's, by the way. It could be Uncle Bob too. They join Uncle Bob and he sells 3 homes a year. It doesn't mean that correlates to somebody. And if they can't provide true value, that's where people feel lost and abandoned because they go, okay, well, I don't know what to do now. And a lot of times they won't go past you and use the upline either, right? And so, that's what you also have to look at. We're sponsored by Michael Reese and Jay Kinder. They have other access to digital courses, right? They have all these different funnels. They have systems and processes. So if you don't have what you have right now and you're still building your story, look at your upline as well. You've got 6 levels above you to be able to look at. There's probably somebody in that, at least one person that has something that you can stack in your offer as well. So it's not just us. And that is the case where we say, okay, well, if you don't want to do YouTube and you want to have the best FSBO scripts, Jay Kinder, how would you like to have access to Jay Kinder's FSBO scripts? Then that may be something that it can attract them as well. So we're just trying to throw as much value up front as possible. And then really eXp doesn't even become a major factor in it because people are looking for the help and the support and the love. And whenever they know that they have that in place or you have that in place, then the brokerage really becomes secondary. And really all the benefits, it's great to talk to somebody about stock and rev share, but what does it matter if they're not selling a home in the first place? And so for us, that's going to come whenever the production increases, right? Whenever we can provide value and we can help them grow their business, then they'll be able to take advantage of all the great things here at eXp, which is why we tell people, look, if you don't work, then eXp doesn't work, Right. But you also, if you're looking for help and you want to grow your business, then we can do that for you or with you.
Here's what I think some of you in the audience are thinking right now. I can't be like Levi. I don't even have a YouTube channel.
I don't have YouTube on my phone.
I don't have YouTube on my phone. I don't have a login. I'm not Jay Kinder. I'm not Michael Reese. I'm not Tom Pryor. I'm not Marissa Tom. And yeah, you guys can do it, but I can't do it. There's somebody in the audience who's thinking about that right now. I know it, because I have people in my organization saying that. Tom, you can do it, but what about me? So here's my tip for you. All of you can do it. All of you can leverage this. Think about this. Every week on a Sunday, I believe, the email still comes out on every Sunday, we all get an email from eXp saying, here's the calendar of events that happens this coming week, right or wrong? And if you know your organization and you know the people in it who are struggling and what their hot buttons are, whether they're a rookie, where they need to learn how to do scripts, go after a FSBO, do a cancel, do a listing appointment, something like that, or if you're recruiting a rock star who might be an icon, you should know what makes these people tick. Start with that. Then go through the calendar of events. And just read it. Go down. We have 12 live training every day, don't we? At least. Pick up the phone, text, email, send a link to people in your organization saying, hey, You're a potential icon agent. You might resonate with this iConversation panel. Hey, you're a rookie. You might resonate with these 14 fast start programs. Hey, you're a team leader and you're local right now, but you've been talking about taking your team to a national level, maybe a global level. Maybe you want to join this session. And here's the secret. Make sure that you go there with them. Make sure you set up their avatar for them. Okay? And then you attend those sessions with them, even though you might not be living in the same town. But you're there holding their hand, just like you are in real life. I have had agents call me and says, Tom, I did everything, but they didn't do the last part, and then they joined somebody else. Who's had that happen? Look at that. I bet you this morning, you guys will raise your hands. Because this happened to me as well. I send a guest pass, I forget about it. Some agent meets some other agent in the virtual world, and it's as real as it is in real life, and they name somebody else because I forgot to F you.
I think you bring up a good point. I want to just do a quick experiment, show of hands. Who here considers themselves a people person? Okay, that's okay. Who here is the phone call person? Like you like people, but you'd rather talk to them on the phone than see them in person, right? All right, who's a reader and a writer? Like you really like to write stuff, okay? And who would want to be on video? Okay, so I would say that was probably, other than the readers and writers, that was a good mix. Maybe, 30, 30, 30, and then 10. So the thing is that he talked about finding out what makes them tick. The thing is there's people in our organization now as well that didn't join us because of YouTube, right? They joined somebody else. And so if you're having those conversations, again, this goes back to the superpower, but the superpower comes from what are people most comfortable doing? So if you're a people person, maybe it is open houses, maybe it's networking, it is shaking hands and kissing babies. That's what people feel most comfortable about. So if I talk to them about starting a YouTube channel, where do you think that's going to go? It's going to go probably over their head. But just like we've done in our organization, the last week we've had 2 people that we, Mike and them actually have an open house course in there. And I said, look, YouTube's a long-term play. They joined us because they want to do YouTube, but I'm like, look, if you need to turn over a business right now, probably the best thing you can do is open houses. If you want to find somebody that's not represented, that's in the market right this second, go through the NAEA training for open houses and do that. We had 2 brand new agents start that. Both of them, one got 2 deals, the other one got 3 deals under contract within their first 30 days just by doing open houses. Now they're building their YouTube channel on the side. So the thing is that if you're a reader and a writer, maybe you can write the best email campaign. I've heard several times in this conference that people are doing email campaigns and having a lot of success through email. So maybe you can write some really cool emails and start to work on emailing your sphere, things like that, because you're not a phone call person. You don't want to call them, or you're maybe afraid to approach them. But what if you could actually write some unique emails or postcard designs? So those types of things. If you're a phone call person, well, guess what? Who do you want to call? FSBOs, expireds. And the same thing with agent attraction. I mean, this goes into, if you're a people person, I think the easiest way you could do agent attraction, and if you don't have a big sphere or something like that, is I would look at going to 2 or 4 open houses every Saturday and Sunday. Think about it. You find a 2-hour block. If you can get to an open house for 30 minutes, go there, meet the agent. Don't sit there, don't go there to present them EXP. Don't do that. But just go there to meet them. Check out the home, talk to them, build a little rapport, establish a relationship, collect a business card and say, cool, yeah, it was great to meet you. You do that. You do that 4 times on a Saturday, 4 times on a Sunday, and of course you could double this. That's 8 people every single week because you're a people person. You're out there, you're doing, and it's 2 hours, right? 2 hours on Saturday, 2 hours on a Sunday. Does that sound reasonable? And then you have 8 people on Monday that you could actually call, that you've met and you've established some rapport and credibility with, and you could call them and say, by the way, did a great job, really cool open house, it was good to meet you. By the way, have you taken a look at eXp, or however you want to approach that? So there's ways to make this happen, but I always recommend to people, figure out who you are. Are you a people person? Are you a phone call person? Are you a reader or writer? Or are you a video? If you're a video person like us, we're constantly making content. It's the reason we bring, now this is not an expense that everybody can handle, but Alex as a videographer was the first full-time hire we made as soon as we had the budget to do that. We built everything organically without any ad spend, and because we had no budget starting out. Now, as soon as we had income from closing homes, the first person we hired was a videographer. Number one, because we understood our job was content. Content is king, and so therefore we wanted to produce more content and also have him come with us on these events, because what happens is that I've probably talked to several of you out in the halls, and people are always going, oh, there's Alex right behind you. We record everything, right? Because we don't have to make specific content necessarily. You can, and we do recommend that too, but if you have content out there, and you can do this anytime. Think about any phone call, any Zoom call, anything you do. You're making 100 pieces of content every single day. It's just whether you decide to document that or not. So even whenever I do a coaching call on a Zoom, I can set up an iPhone right next to me in vertical format and record that entire conversation. If you've ever looked at my Instagram, you'll see my reels on there. My Instagram is agent attraction focused. So again, when I talk about don't mix audiences, on YouTube we have an agent attraction channel, we have a real estate client attraction channel, right? Because if I'm a real estate client and I come to your channel and the first thing I see is something agent attraction related, I'm gonna say, well, this isn't the channel for me, and vice versa, right? And so all of the content we make, and you're doing this, whether you could be calling, if you're calling FSBOs all day, set up a iPhone right next to you, vertical format, record that. That's what Ricky did a lot of times, right? Just record himself making cold calls, does it live, does all these different formats. And so if you record yourself doing that, you're documenting your process. So you think about that. Now you have something that that you can produce on Instagram, and people are going to see you active. Who do people want to work with? They want to work with the active people, right? The present people. If you want to win in this market has shifted right now. It's already shifted. There's not a market shift. It's already shifted. And if you want to win right now, I believe the best agents are the agents that are the most visible. The most visible will win. Now, if you're doing video, then you need to produce more video. If you're doing phone calls, you need to make more phone calls. If you're a people person, you need to be in person more and more and more. You need to double and triple your efforts right now, because I believe the most visible agents, what do people do? Whenever they meet you or they look up to you, people are vetting you through social media as well now. So if you're on that fence with social media, you just need to get something there, trust me. Or you can build it. I mean, there are ways to do it, but ideally, people are attracted to people that they want to do business with and who they feel like they can learn from.
I love that. So record yourself. Just get out of your own head. Just record. And here's what I do, right? I have agents who want to call FSBOs, call expires. I say, record yourself, and then send it to me. I don't want to hear it. I have agents who say, I want to attract. Okay, how many hours a week did you do? I do 2 hours a week or 2 hours a day, whatever. Okay, record an hour and send it to me. And then we watch it. And guess what happens? They really didn't work for 2 hours. They were fumbling around, making notes, walking around. I'm like, dude, in 2 hours you made like 3 phone calls. No one picked up. I could have done that in 10 minutes. So are you really working? So ask yourself that, and have an accountability partner, or be accountable to yourself first, and you'll be amazed how ineffective we all are. Right? Does that help?
So along those same lines, we're talking about systems. We're talking about being able to get out of your own head and do things that are uncomfortable. I appreciate that Glenn and the folks here at eXp put together this conference. There's over 6,000 people, eXp agents here right now, but we're at 85,000 agents room. So there are people that should be in this room that aren't. That's one thing you have to think about. The other thing is, and this is what I'm talking about as far as systems, we attend every major event without question. That is part of our system, and we always bring at least one new person, at least. And we actually make sure that our organization, our true leaders, are doing the exact same thing. That's how you grow.
Yeah, we have 82 of our organization here, and about 5 guests here. So my question for you is, if you want a big organization and you're only one here, how are you replicating yourself? So make sure right now, buy the early bird ticket for next year. Trust me, go out and buy 10 of them. That's $6,490. Is it worth it? Buy it now. I promise you, if you can't bring in people, you can sell it at retail later on and make a profit. Because everyone's going to, get the early bird special, it's gone already. Buy it, guys.
So the other thing too is, I mean, we're all surrounded by like-minded people here right now. And they say that big decisions are made at big events, but what are you gonna do when you go home? What things that you're gonna take as far as everything that you've learned over the past couple of days, and you're going to incorporate in your business and in your lives? Make that a system. Make it a point to every time you go to an event, take at least one thing back with you and implement it.
And it doesn't even have to be major events. This live events that eXp sponsored in your local market, trust me, we're everywhere now. And we're all open to it. So you guys go to my website, agentsgetfree.com or rockthecomma.com. We open up to the world. We have live events all the time. rockthecomma.com, all right? Look at our events and invite. Just text me, text Marissa, text our leaders, Daniel Lang, Dick Lee, they're all in the room. Text them and says, I've got a guest coming. Text the picture of their Facebook profile or their LinkedIn profile, and we'll make sure we take care of them for you and not poach your clients, your agents. Got it? Use the system.
The other thing, and I keep going like this.
Tom, Marissa would like the microphone. So just and we want to open it up to maybe a question or two if we can.
Oh, was I subtle? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, nobody saw that.
Go ahead, honey.
Yeah, so Tom talked about our two websites, rockthecomma.com and agentsgetfree.com. Rock the Comma was about our local MLS in the state of Massachusetts getting us to 1,000 agents, 1,000 eXp agents. It was about building our own state. And then what we wanted to do was help, people get to 1,000 agents. Right? And so that's where the Rock the Comma came in. But what that is it's a map of where we're going to be with a schedule of when we're going to be there as far as our in-person events. rockthecomma.com.
Rock, R-O-C-K,
Yeah.
the, T-H-E, comma, C-O-M-M-A.
Yes. The other one is agentsgetfree.com. And that is all built on content. Agentsgetfree.com. Within that website, you will not only find out about Tom and where he is and what he's doing, but we have content about agent attraction in there. We have content in there about onboarding. We have content in there that's state-specific for every state. I've actually been working with Parker Dunahey to make sure that the information that we have in there is real, true, and correct. But it's a place that you can get real content. Because what we always do is we drive our agents to there. There's also a heat map of all the agents within our organization so they can refer business to each other. Because we're building a community, that's the plan.
And that's open for everybody. We share everything. All right, let's do questions. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, and also I wanted to throw out, since we're throwing out websites,
5 minutes.
go to passiveprospecting.com. So passiveprospecting.com, and you can sign up for to be notified whenever we release the book, which we're completing right now, on how to build your YouTube channel.
Should we take questions?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Tell you what, why don't we do this? Come right up here for your questions. All right?
Yeah.
Let's get a line and ask your questions.
Passive income.
Passive prospecting.
Oh, sorry, passive prospecting.
Passiveprospecting.com. Go for it.
My name's Kevin. Levi, this is for you. So you look very familiar on YouTube for Jesse Dow. It feels like you're just copying everything that he has. So why wouldn't you just leverage his systems instead of having to create your own system?
So we're not in their organization at all whatsoever. Yep.
Okay, it just looks like it.
So the thing is that I think a lot of people have learned from a lot of people, right?
Sure.
And so the thing is that there's so many people that I've learned from. Very simple to do. But as far as I know, YouTube's not exclusive to anybody, right? Is cold calling exclusive to anybody? Is getting into real estate exclusive to anybody? Okay, so you can't say, well, somebody else is a real estate agent, therefore I can't be a real estate agent, right? So the thing is that we've learned from a lot of people, but what we've done is we've developed our own system and our own plan on our own through our own experience, and you can look at our channel and see the results, and we're happy to share that with anybody, and so therefore we created a system around that, and that's how we attract our business.
We have like 3 minutes left.
My name is Donna. I'm in Texas, realtor. And what systems do you guys use to keep in contact or to decide who's going to be in charge of your agents that are in other countries or other areas where you guys can't be?
Same with CRM Grow. Yeah, we should track all that. And eXp Enterprise.
So so when you're starting to actually build a large organizations, your leaders like Cream are going to come to the top. And once you identify who that leader is, that true leader is going to help you whether you are in their downline or not. That's the community that we build.
You know what? We might not have time for all the questions. Can I just close with one thing?
Sure.
Actually, I don't need this. Guys, you need a mic? Okay. Guys, listen. This is about agent attraction, tools, systems. You've heard us give you some basic nuggets, and they all work for us. Most of them don't cost anything, okay? So my question is, I think the biggest challenge that agents the biggest challenge agents have when it comes to attraction is that you can't get out of your own way. The moment you decide to throw the ego, or leave the ego at the door, or leave the ego behind once you pick up the phone, to change someone else's life, to understand their wants, their desires, their dreams, their goals, their struggles, to really get in there and understand, then that's when you become a professional inviter, and then someone to help them grow. There are so many agents out there or families who just can't make ends meet. We're at a shift right now. National Association of Realtors says there can be a bunch of people dropping out of the business. I'm going to share with you one story. It's very powerful because I want you to figure out your why, that first reason why you're here, first reason why you're in the business, and the reasons why you're going to hear no after no after no after no after no to find the one or two people who can change their lives. Imagine that. If there's 85,000 of us here today, and we just change one life by bringing in one more agent, we'll be at 170,000 agents next year, right? I'm not asking you to do 100 or 300, maybe one. So, Marissa asked me to go grocery shopping last week before I went, grocery shopping. So I went grocery shopping, and I see a mom and a 10-year-old kid going up and down the aisle, and they have this book. And the mom is picking up the food, and the kid is doing the math. $10 plus $9 equals $19, plus $6 equals $25, plus. And it ends with $140. And I looked at that, and it reminded me of me when I was a child. When I went grocery shopping with my mom, and we did not want to be embarrassed to go up to the counter and run out of money. Okay? So I immediately went up to the front. There were only 3 cashiers. I gave them my credit card. I said, there's a mom and a son coming up. Just pay for the groceries for me. Okay? So they finished. And I'm waiting for them to leave because I don't care. I don't need to say, be recognized, right? But they won't leave because they knew I had to come up and get my credit card. So I went up, I grabbed my credit card back, the mom gives me a big hug. She goes, you need to do that. I said, it's okay, just pay it forward. Just pay it forward. And then she goes, the only thing that I have to give you is this book. Wow. And then I go to my car, and she has everything checked off. And bread is not checked off because she ran out of money. Guys, you have the ability to change lives. Go out there and have conversations with people. There are agents who are about to quit this business, and you can be their solution. Just get your ego out of the way and help somebody. Thank you.